Red Nation, are we here?
That's right.
The best show for Chicago sports.
Breeze Nation, what's good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love, as always, to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. On today's episode, we got to talk about Bears actually getting some good news on a couple of players here, as Luther Burden and Cole Kmet get a nice estimation on the injury report. And then we got to take a look at the report from Ian Rapoport that Bears may be in the market for I think you could say big name corner. Try and go out here and see what they can get off of the available market. And finally, you know we can't do this without reacting to what we've seen from this Chicago Bulls team to start the season. I mean, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the date is 11/5/2025. It's 5 in the evening. But can I say, Chicago, we up? Let's go. I mean, like, are we like legitimately up right now? Feel like we might be legitimately up right now. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the hype button as well, man. Big shout out to you guys for tuning in and showing love. Are we up? Like it's Chicago, like let's be real here for a second, right? Let's be real here for a second. Chicago Bulls 6-1, best team in the East. Chicago Bears 5-3, seeming like they might be getting a little bit healthier here, trying to figure some things out, and an opportunity to move to 6-3 here. Yeah, the Blackhawks losing, they've lost 3 games in a row. I understand that, but listen, you got a chance to get that back on track tonight, and could be back above 500. I mean, who else is there? The Chicago Fire made the playoffs this year. Who am I? Made the White Sox had a really good second half of the season and looked to hit the ground running. I don't like it. But could I say that the Cubs made the playoffs? I mean, all we're missing is the Chicago Sky to get it together. We got a city of winners out here, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button just for that. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. I'm excited about what this new look winning Chicago could possibly bring. Was Ben Johnson the answer for the entire city? Because some of this is shocking. Like the Blackhawks is shocking. The Bulls started shocking. I figure the Bulls will end up somewhere around where I think they are probably going to be, because I think the rest of the NBA is going to get a little bit better as the year continues to go through. But I mean, I'm a little surprised there by the Blackhawks. I mean, the Bears coming out balling. I love it. Let's keep it up, man. Let's keep it up. Let's talk a little bit of Bears here, though, as the Chicago Bears injury report did come out today. The Wednesday injury report. Remember, this is an estimation. This is not a actual practice. This is kind of the walkthrough day, but if this were a day of full practice here, this is where the Bears feel like they would be. Unfortunately, Josh Blackwell, Kevin Byard, TJ Edwards, Grady Jarrett, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Dominique Robinson, all would be DNP. But remember, this is the estimation day. We've seen these guys be DNP on Wednesday. On Thursday, we've seen most of these guys get out there and practice, so I'm not that concerned about it as of yet. Roshan Johnson, Cole Kmet, Kyle Monangai, DeAndre Swift, and here's a name. Cole Kmet is the name on there that you should feel good about with the concussion. He was limited with the estimation, so that's good to see. Luther Burden would have been a full go with the concussion, and Eamon Ogbongbemiga full go as well. So it truly feels like a lot of opportunity here for the Chicago Bears to get back some good pieces here. You lost Cole Kmet in the game due to a pass that, to me, Caleb Williams threw way too high, ended up hitting ended up setting him up to kind of take a shot. He does take the shot, ends up getting a concussion and being out of the game. But, Colston Loveland was able to step up really big there. And the Luther Burden aspect of all of this, to me, I think, you haven't seen Luther Burden for a couple of weeks here. Going to be really good to get him back in the mix. And to me, that is kind of the conversation on this team right now of, okay, not only are you starting to see this offense figure things out, but you're getting back some really, really legitimate weapons. I mean, Cole Kmet, we know what he can be once you get those tight ends involved. Maybe he was supposed to be the Colston Loveland of this conversation, and so that'll be a little bit different here moving forward. Maybe Colston taking over one of those spots. We know what those guys look like in that run game there. But Luther Burden being added back into this mix. I mean, Luther Burden has been somebody who has popped up a couple of times and you felt really, really good about the production that you've gotten out of him when utilized in that manner. And so for me, I think that, getting these names back, it makes you feel good heading into a Giants game versus a Giants team that does have a solid front seven here, or at least that front four on the defensive line. We've seen that really be impactful here. The Giants defense has not been nearly as good as I thought that it once would be starting off the season. I've been completely wrong on the Giants. I thought that defense would be much better this season, but having weapons to be able to attack. And I think this is going to be a game where the quick game is going to have to be really, really good. You know what I mean? Like the Caleb Williams quick game, to me, this is one where your tight ends should stand out. Very similar to what I said going into that Bengals game that we had last week, where it's like, there's guys, if Trey Hendrickson had played, was kind of the conversation I was having there, where, listen, if you need to get that ball out quickly, this is a game where the tight ends should dominate. I still feel kind of that same way here. You got Brian Burns over there. You know what he's able to do when he wants to get after you, and he's been a monster this season. We'll pull up the Giants injury report as well. But it just hasn't meant anything, right? The pressure has been there. The numbers have not been there nearly as much. And so to me, getting that ball out of Caleb Williams' hands as quickly as possible. I said the numbers haven't been there. I was, I guess I shouldn't have been speaking on Brian Burns. The team as a whole, the numbers haven't been there. Brian Burns got 11 sacks this season. So that front is still incredibly terrifying if you are the Chicago Bears right now. And I think that that's going to be something conversation-wise that we'll talk about throughout the week, and where it feels like, this Bears team needs to have their most success. Get that ball out of Caleb Williams' hands quickly, run the football really well. I think Luther Burden steps up in that. I think the tight ends step up in that. And I think that's where that 12 personnel is really going to stand out more for this team, because that's where you get Kyle Monangai re-involved in this game. That's where you get a guy like Britton Brown as well, because we don't know what DeAndre Swift is going to be. I would expect, with the production that you saw out of Kyle Monangai, there's probably a possibility that of everybody on that list, that DeAndre Swift does not get the call. And the only reason I'm saying that is because why rush him? You got a long season left, as you can see with how they're doing this. I like that we're starting to see this here, because there are guys on here that you need to help out. Grady Jarrett's on this list. DNP, not injury related, rest. You need to find those moments for certain players here. And I love how Ben Johnson talked about the production out of a guy like DeAndre Swift. They said, we need to make sure that he's able to get back to being 100%. We need to make sure that he's able to go out there and he can find his footing. He can find he can get back on track with where he was. Because remember, that game right before you end up taking him out, he ended up having, it probably affected him a little bit more because the numbers started to come way down. I thought that Ben Johnson also didn't call enough runs there, but maybe you're trying to protect the player from himself, as Ben said. So to me, I think this is going to be a very, very big week for the Bears overall, injury-wise, when you're talking about getting guys back out there. But you also have that opportunity to slow play some of this stuff. Like a guy like DeAndre Swift, I'm okay with you taking one more week off, because it's not, again, I keep saying this, the Monangai situation is not, we're looking to move on from Swifty. The Monangai situation to me is, we are looking to make sure that DeAndre Swift has someone else to complement him in this backfield. I think you're in an NFL now where you need two guys no matter what. I think you're in an NFL now where you need to have two guys out there running the football at a high level no matter what. And what you're seeing out of Kyle Monangai excites me when you've got a guy who's running the football as well as DeAndre Swift was before he ended up getting banged up. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. That was the injury update for the day. Now here's a interesting update that Ian Rapoport dropped, that Asante Samuel Jr. will be visiting the Chicago Bears here on this coming Tuesday. He's also going to be visiting some teams around the league. So listen, he could fall in love with a team before he ends up getting to that Bears workout and wanting to go there. I don't know if the Bears is one of the teams he wants to work with, but he's visiting the Panthers today. After that, it's going to be the Packers on Thursday, the Vikings on Friday, the 49ers on Monday, Bears on Tuesday, and Steelers on Wednesday. A thorough, methodical process. So a lot of teams interested in him. It'd be very interesting to see if the Bears could be able to get a guy like Asante Samuel in the building. That would help tremendously with what this team has wanted to do. And remember, we haven't seen him really healthy for a while now. When we did, he was a top 20 DB in this NFL. His coverage was phenomenal. I think he was probably top 10 in that, if you want to have that conversation. And he was somebody who you felt like could really go out there and be a great pass breakup guy, especially a guy that's going step for step with you. Only 26 years old. And the reason he's been out is because he had to have that spinal fusion. Remember, that was something he went down with in the offseason. He was fully cleared to return to the NFL by doctors, respected doctors David Ogankwu, I said that name completely wrong, and Nick Theodore, in a letter from his agent Trayvon Smith that they sent to NFL teams. So this is kind of teams getting in, doing the medicals, trying to see, okay, is this guy healthy? If we put him through a rigorous workout, is he going to be able to get through a season? Is it worth signing him this year? And I think here's the thing, right? You're making moves that, to me, I know everybody was kind of freaking out over the Joe Tryon move yesterday. I know that you wanted to see the Bears go out and do a lot more, but you're making moves for a team that's still trying to figure out who's going to be a part of the future. I've said this a couple of times. My favorite line that Mike Ditka ever gave, we are going to win the Super Bowl. Most of you won't be on the team when we do it. You don't want to go out and start trading draft capital away. You don't want to go out and start making big moves unless it is for a young future piece, right? Like a Max Crosby. We heard, look at what the Quinnen Williams trade went for, bro. Like, you trading some pieces to go get a guy like Max Crosby and or Trey Hendrickson, right? Like, you would have to trade, souls essentially. And so to me, when I look at, just trying to get through this year, trying to get your defense back on track. Sometimes you got to deal with the injuries that you're having and try and make it through that season. Right now, that's kind of where the Bears are at right now. You're hoping to get Kyler Gordon back at some point. There could be a combination of Kyler Gordon and CJ Gardner-Johnson. But I think you look at the evaluation of DB, CJ Gardner-Johnson came in and essentially immediately got right back on track, right? Like, CJ Gardner-Johnson looked like a dang good football player on Sunday. I know the defense as a whole did not, but just watching CJ Gardner-Johnson, he looked like the dude that was like, why isn't he in the NFL? Oh, yeah, sometimes he could be a little bit of a jag. Do the Bears have the infrastructure to overcome that? That's the hope. But you got a good player right there. Now I'm looking at a guy possibly coming in, if you can get him to the interview process and possibly, see what this defense is able to do. Asante Samuel added to this defense. Right now, you've got a defense that's been dominant in the takeaways. You're hoping that Joe Tryon brings you some of the pressure that you have been lacking over the last few weeks. You also hope that Austin Booker can continue to build on what you saw from him in 37 snaps on Sunday. And if you can get some of that, you're going to need DBs out there that can go out there and catch the ball. That hasn't, and I'll be honest with you, just flat out cover. Asante Samuel Jr., when he was last on the field, the one thing that you could say from him was that he could flat out cover. The interception numbers are not, what's he got career interception wise? I would probably bet less than 6. I got to make sure to put the junior on that mug. Let's look at stats here. He's got 6 exactly. So he's got, in 4 years in LA, he's got exactly 6 interceptions. It's not what he's known for. The dominance is the PBU numbers. The dominance for him, he's had 2 every year he's been in the league. The dominance for him is how he is in coverage. That's what the Chicago Bears need to have at corner. Because right now, listen, I like Nashawn Wright. I think that he is better as a gambler on this team. And what I mean by that is he watches the film, he watches the tape, and you can tell 3-4 times a game, he knows exactly where he needs to break on a ball to try and get an interception. That's fine if you get the breakup or you get the pick. It's tough when you gamble on that and you get beat down the field. The T. Higgins play, like I see people like, he got babied on that. That's a grown man move. I don't know what you want him to do on that. That's an insanely tough stop, and it's T. Higgins. Like, would I like him to go step for step with a guy? Sure. But to me, I don't think that he is that kind of DB. And it's not to say he doesn't have talent, but the reason I don't think that he's that kind of DB is because I think he's the guy that watches the tape, knows what the quarterback's eyes are going to do, knows what the quarterback wants to do when the quarterback delivers the ball. He's trying to get the ball. There's a value in that. It's one of the reasons why the Chicago Bears lead the NFL in takeaways this season. You've got a couple of guys on the team that are like that. And those are plays that can be big, can break, can go the other way. You can find yourself in favorable field position. On the flip side of that, when you miss, dang it. Somebody grab him for me. There he goes. Yep. We got it. Okay, KB, you got him. Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of them. I feel like Tariq Stevenson, he is more of a... It's tough to say that he's more to me of a press corner than anything. Essentially meaning that I think that he can play aggressive. He can get up. He can knock guys off of their route. He can put guys out of position. He can use that length to tip the football away. But he does a lot of his dirty work at the line, getting guys out of their position. Asante Samuel just covers. And I think you do need a guy like that on the team, especially at a good value where he's coming from. Coming off of this injury, coming off of this injury, I wouldn't expect anybody to be offering, a massive bag here. A bag here. Like, I think you're offering, hey, let's get you back in the NFL and get you comfortable on the team and see what you have. And this can be a tryout for you for the future. Willie Beeman 100% with this comment here. He said, Tyreek is a number 2 cornerback. He's not a number 1, but he's serviceable. And that's all I need him to be. The problem is he's in a situation this season where he has to be the number 1. When Tyreek is in his role, I love Tyreek. When Tyreek is in the role where he has to be the number 1 DB out there, I am looking for somebody that can do a little bit better in the coverage. Because Tyreek is going to have games where the coverage is up. He's going to have games where the coverage is down. But what's going to be consistent is the muscle that he's able to put on somebody. The problem is you can't push everybody around. If you push me and I can push back and you move, now I'm down the field. So to me, I'll be honest with you, I like the fact that Asante Samuel Jr. is somebody that the Chicago Bears are looking at here. I hope that is somebody that this Bears team can get in the building and can make work for this team. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if he gets past a couple of these teams. I think there are, again, the names are the Panthers today. I think he probably moves past the Panthers, Packers on Thursday, Vikings Friday, 49ers Monday. If I'm Asante Samuel, I mean, some of those are some good spots, especially the Vikings for what he wants to do. Now, coming here, right, you're going to get in it's a mano-a-mano situation. Maybe he likes that. Maybe he likes that challenge. Maybe he feels like that will prove to NFL teams moving forward, hey, I'm not only 100%, I can go there and cover you one-on-one and be on an island and go out here and be a dog. But it's a lot nicer when you got a defensive line that has Micah Parsons on it. Or you have a defensive line like the Vikings have, where you can say, hey, they getting pressure on him. He throwing the football up. I just got to make sure he don't catch it. I don't have to be a godsend. I don't have to be a kingpin. I just need to make sure that I cover long enough for him to get to you. Unfortunately, that's not the situation that's here in Chicago. Here in Chicago, you got to be the man as a DB. So to me, I think we'll see kind of what Asante Samuel is made of if he does make it here. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even get to the point of Tuesday before a team has him snatched up. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. One more thing before we do end up getting out of here. Got to talk about this Bulls team as well. Love what we've seen from this Chicago Bears team. Like I said, Chicago is up. Love what we've seen out of this Bears team. I think that this Bears team has an opportunity to go 6-3 here going up against the Giants. But I got to finish it off talking about a team that last night stunned everybody who was watching an Eastern Conference matchup. Woo! Brother, let me tell you something. If you're a Chicago Bulls fan right now, it is okay to believe in this team. It is okay for you to believe in this team. I know some people look at this and say, 6-1. I had my producer on the Chicago Bears podcast, Eric Ostrowski, said, make me a case for why this Bulls team is a legitimate playoff team in the East. And my case to him was, there is no better defense in the NBA right now. And I know 45 points in the first quarter, Mo's going to look at me crazy. There's no better defense, not in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference right now than the Chicago Bulls. That is why you can believe in this Chicago Bulls team as a legitimate playoff team. Now, if injuries ravage the team throughout the year and you lose guys, that's a whole different conversation. But you had no Zach Collins yet again. You had no Ayo Dosunmu for the second straight night. You had a missing piece of scoring that you've been missing all season in Kobe White, and you still were able to go out there and fight and claw your way back into a game that was incredibly tough. And I'll tell you this right now, when you look at the second half of that game, it wasn't the offense that figured it out. It was the defense. You allowed 36 points to VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey. By the way, VJ Edgecombe, who's probably the rookie of the year this year and who is amazing. And Tyrese Maxey, who on his birthday, you ruined his birthday, but who legitimately could get any bucket that he wanted. Like, he is that good of a basketball player. Joel Embiid, yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, I love what we saw from Vooch and stuff like that, but the knees ain't there. The knees ain't there. We know the knees ain't there. It's okay that the knees ain't there. He's working his way back in, I think, and he's off tonight. I think it's going to be a long time throughout this season, and it might be over. It truly might be over. I don't know if the knees are going to allow him to be back to what he once was. But if you're a Bulls fan right now, and you're sitting there going, why should I actually believe in this team? The defense that the Chicago Bulls played in the second half of that game, and that same defense that we saw the first game in New York, that same defense that we saw versus 4 other playoff teams this season, that is real. Now, they got a gauntlet coming up. They got a tough task coming up here. But when you talk about them being one of the real teams in the East, they're doing this shorthanded right now. You are missing a scorer who is a 20 to 25 points per game scorer, and Josh Giddey is stepping up being that guy. Right now, you really might be in a situation, at least is how it looks right now, where you could be talking about Josh Giddey as a starter in the All-Star game. I know it's early. But early in this season, he is playing at an absolutely elite level. And you saw a guy in that game that felt like, hey, I need to put the team on my back. By the way, first time a Chicago Bull since 1988, 1989 had back-to-back triple-doubles. The last Bull to do its name was Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Also, the first time since 2021, the Chicago Bulls have come back from a 24-plus point deficit. And it's behind the skill set of 19-5-11, 21-8-3, 18-13-5, 28-12, 32-10-9, 23-12-12, 29-15-12. You got a legitimate point guard in the building. And he's not just a point guard. He's willing to go down there and do the dirty work on the boards. He's willing to fight. He's willing to do whatever it takes. And you want to know what I love when they put out, it was a couple of games ago, they put out it was like the mic'd up for Josh Giddey. And you would think Josh Giddey mic'd up, he's calling out the offense, he's telling guys move around, he's telling them, set this screen, let's do this. Hey, good play. What you want to see on the offensive end to do? It was all defensive highlights. It was all him calling guys out and making sure they were in the right position defensively. Not only do you have a guy who can put up points, who can put up numbers, who can put up assists, you also have a young man who is proving to be a leader on this team on both ends. By the way, a guy who's not a good defender. He's playing above his defensive threshold. Why? Because he's telling his team what position they need to be in. He's telling his team, yo, you got to slide here because if you don't, Vooch is going to get beat on the back end. It's going to make him look bad. Now you see Modest Buzelis was terrible in that game. I thought in that game, Modest Buzelis got punked in the first quarter. And the team got into him. The Billy Donovan, who's having a phenomenal start to his season, was lighting him up. And Modest flipped the switch in that second half and said, you know what? You're right. Let me put this, let me get back on track. Let me figure this out. And it wasn't about him going out there balling out offensively. He didn't ball out offensively in the second half. He had an okay game. He hit some threes that you needed him to hit. But it was about his defense locking up in the second half. Some of the defensive plays, some of the length he used. And even, I'll say this, on the last play, Brian Scalabrine pointed this out, on which I love how they're covering the NBA over on Peacock and over on NBC. They are doing a phenomenal job over there teaching basketball again. It makes me so excited. On the final play, to Vooch, Josh Giddey driving down. We all know the drive and kick. But what makes the play work is how Billy Donovan is scheming up Modest Buzelis on that play to help Vooch get open. He makes a 45 cut. 45 cut starts at the right wing or left wing. You can do it either way. It's literally cutting at a 45-degree angle towards the basket. Does a 45 cut that Quentin Grimes has to respect. Created what I believe they said was 12 feet of space. And at 12 feet of space, wide open. It gave Vooch probably one of the more open shots he had all night to knock that down. That's phenomenal scheme offensively from Billy Donovan, which I think I know a lot of people don't like Billy. I already knew he could do that. I already knew scheme-wise Billy could call an offense. I've seen him do that. The question was, could he be consistent? Could he motivate? Could he get these guys up? All that good stuff. But what we saw from the team, that final shot drawn up, beautiful. Vooch knocking it down, beautiful. Giddey making a pass, beautiful. How he put the team on his back, beautiful. But to me, the reason this Chicago Bulls team, I'll take both of them in the playoffs. The reason this Chicago Bulls team is a playoff caliber team is 110% because of what they're doing right now defensively, and they're doing it while teams are expecting it. You went into that game last night in the first half, and they said, Philly literally went, let's see if we can break their defense by punking these mugs. Kelly Oubre went right at Modest Buzelis. He said, let me see if I can punk these mugs and get them out their game. That's why they pulled him out and put Herter in. Herter came in, he said, nah, I ain't no punk. Let's go. This level of defense this is the type of game that propelled the Thibs Bulls so far. How many of those Thibs teams were supposed to make it in the playoffs and be a top 5 team in the East? Of course you think of the Derrick Rose ones, but remember, he was doing that without Derrick. He was doing that with just Jimmy. He was doing that with just Joakim Noah. It didn't matter who he had because the defense kept you in the game. You brought Wes Unseld Jr. over. It feels like he's probably the one manning this defense right now. And I'll tell you what, he's doing a phenomenal job because these Chicago Bulls are playing on a string. And if you're a Bulls fan right now, that is the reason for you to believe. That is the reason for you to believe that this Chicago Bulls team will be a legitimate playoff team in the Eastern Conference. Now, do I think teams are going to be better? Do I think the Bulls are going to hold first place the entire way? I don't. I would love to see it coast to coast first place. I don't. I think we probably end up somewhere around 3 or 4 and probably more around 4. I would still say Cleveland ends up as one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. I'll still throw Philly up there. I know we just beat them, but I think that Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe getting better as the season goes on, that's going to be talent that this team just possibly won't have. I think that the Milwaukee Bucks right now are a team who has probably has the best player in the Eastern Conference in Giannis, and right now they're 5-3. I would expect them to pick it up, even though they just lost to the Toronto Raptors. But outside of that, I think that the Knicks have no idea what to do with Karl Anthony Towns. I think Detroit is a team that I do like, and I like what I'm seeing from them. I have a lot of question marks on their lack of shooting and how that's going to help them down the stretch. And I actually don't feel like they've gotten. Now it's early, so I'm not going to say that. Early in the season, it feels like they are the same team that they were last year. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not a bad thing. It just, I thought that there would be more of a leap here this season. I just haven't seen it from Detroit yet. A lot of season left to go. By the way, while saying that, they're 5-2 right now. They're third in the Eastern Conference. So to me, I don't believe in the Heat in the slightest. I think the Knicks are a little bit confused right now. The Hawks are, yeah, I'm good. And the Magic look worse. So to me, like, I love what I'm seeing out of this young Bulls team. I think this is a team that can continue to win, playing some really, really nice defense like this. And I think it's going to be a team that we're going to be very proud of here in Chicago. Hey, man, I got to get up out of here. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Got to make a run with the kiddos, playing daddy daycare all day today. Big shout out to you guys for tuning in, though. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Let me know your thoughts on the Asante Samuel possibility. Let me know your thoughts on the Bulls, and let me know your thoughts on getting Luther Burden back. What do you think the impact he's going to make to this team will be? Appreciate y'all for showing love as always, man. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. See red. Peace.